Alrighty guys, eFootball 2022. Before we start with the more of a gameplay content, now if you join my live stream, it's always gameplay. Apart from Thursdays where it's going to be pack, game management, general advice and Q&A. Follow me on Twitch and make sure to turn the notification on. It's basically a live Q&A most of the time. In this particular episode, I want to talk about a particular setup that I used on a live stream. I went on a bad run. When I go on a bad run, now the game is still changing. It has a lot of flaws. So I'm trying to find ways that it's possible to overcome certain flaws. Number one, a lot of time I rewatch my game to see before I can see the shitty goal. I look back and see what did I do to lose position in the first place. So it's always good to understand the difference between your mistake, the game is a mistake. I don't believe in luck, okay? In my opinion, it's not always bad luck, and it's definitely not always delay, because we have the same kind of delay issue even offline. So I came up with the system, a formation with a particular playing style and players' playing style that will dominate the meta formation. And I call this formation the anti-meta. Most of the time when you get to higher division, from division 4 and above, you most likely face something like this. Now, as you can see, I have about 10 different plans. This is what we do on a live stream. Before I put out any videos advising you, I try to test everything out. Playing against humans, to understand the game better, to understand what people do. It's always easy to make a tutorial based on offline, but online, especially Dream Team, is very different. So, most of the time, you will face a formation like this. This is the meta formation. We're going to talk about this in a separate video. To combat this, or the diamond formation, which you face a lot, I come up with this particular formation that we went 17 games undefeated, and I have to say, when we finally lost, it was one of those games where a simple mistake I would get punished. Every shot was a goal. I feel like my goalkeeper was hollow. You go on a bad run because certain thing pisses you off in the game, and then you end up getting angry, and when you get angry, you rush, and when you rush, nothing goes well. A bonus advice. I've analyzed this game a lot, maybe not as much as I used to do for 21. If you feel like everything is against you, you intercept, the ball bounces back, you pass to a player who isn't marked, goes to the player who's marked. Do you know what I mean? There's like these type of scenarios. Slow down, dude. Slow down, give the game the time to think. Understand that if your opponent can do 5 passes accurately, zipped 5 passes accurately, bang, 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 while you just managed to switch your cursor, fast play is working for him, not for you. You can't win that game playing with his pace. You gotta kill his tempo. So there are many things like that. Hopefully in an upcoming video we'll talk about the mentality and how to overcome certain things that is possible. Even if there are these difficult games, dynamic difficulties, play balance, scripting, there are people who can bypass that and overcome it. Number one, it's all about beating the game, not the gamer, and understanding particular games. And of course, goes without saying, there are many people who are better than you and me, or worse, and you know what I mean? Just saying. So I went on a very difficult run where every game I would hit the post. Every decent shot on a good angle, players with good stamina would go wide. And it got into me very badly to a point where I just started playing bad because I was angry. So I rewatched a couple of my games, and I pointed out what I was doing wrong. I was rushing in the final third a lot. And number two, what was effective against me? And most of the time, it was that bypassing the midfield, 2-pass counter. The meta gameplay, it's all about just one direct pass to the front, slow down, double touch, quick passing. Don't even spam 1-2s too much. I mean, I can't believe the meta is just about passing in this game in a way. Not saying you can't dribble and shit. So anyway, I came up with the system because this 5-3-2, now that is important that you're not going to make it 5-2-1-2. I don't have an attacking midfielder for a good reason. And also, I know probably Jacob right now would say, oh, 5 at the back, cheap, anti-football. Listen, man, Pep Guardiola used 5 at the back when it suited him. Just saying. And let me explain to you why this isn't parking the bus and your typical anti-football. Pay attention. I have 2 attacking fullback, which I don't use defense on them. I have high caliber technical midfielders. I'm not using Kante. I'm not using Anchorman. You got orchestrator, whole player, box to box. And by the way, I upgraded. I was using Zaniolo here. Not even legend. I was using De Jong here. And so on. My box to box was Barella. We did a little bit of a change. And the most important aspect up front to have a box to box and to have a goal poacher and a fox in the box. It just their movement is different and messes up the opposition's AI. It worked very well. Now again, it's important to have somebody fast, rapid, and somebody maybe strong, whether it's Ronaldo. But for me, with five at the back, in my opinion, if you play quick counter, you definitely need fast players. I'm playing position. I didn't think this combination would work, but I give it a try because with position, I prefer to go more a little bit more higher technique strikers like Benzema with good passing and so on. So if you want to copy this, we had like about 6, 7 people. I recommended this to them. Many people just messaged me, going on a streak using this system. It's important, number one, to play position game. If you're one of those players who just plays with high tempo, maybe try counter. But this will only be super defensive if I play long ball counter, if I have 2 DMF, or if I have anchor to box and defense on fullbacks. Then it will be offensive. Now remember, this isn't super defensive. It's just to compensate the meta formation that I face a lot, which is the NATO 4-2-1-3 or diamond. This is for me more of a safe 3-5-2 because when you attack, this is what your team shapes like. Every time when you have the ball, this is what your team shapes as. It's simply you turn into 3-1-4-2. So you will still get countered just like any other formation. But I have never had so many clean sheets. I think out of 16, 17 games, half of them were clean sheets. It's on a live stream. I think it's stream number 111, 12, 13. It does say it on the title. Sorry. So it's a safe 3-5-2 in my opinion. And again, even Pep Guardiola used 5 at the back. Listen, even if this was long ball counter with defense on fullback, when you go on a bad run, you got to figure out, you got to use that particular day, that particular week till you find some form. You got to use something that you think what the problem is that you were having. What did you have problem facing? What did you have problem with yourself the way you were playing? Now, again, it's really important. When you make a pass to the striker, that's not your attack. You got to wait a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to be isolated between those two guys. Because it's position game, these guys are not going to make direct runs behind the opposition defense. And most of the time, you don't even have trigger runs. So you have to play very slow and with very, very patient. Be patient. Let the game think. Most of the time, I make a pass from Valverde to Romario. I wait for fullback overlap. And I have to say, a stunning early cross was a game changer here. It's essential that you use high technique fullbacks, not defensive fullbacks. I think I used that PSG left back. He goes for like 40K. Very young, goes leveled up very high. And I used Davis here. And on the right side with the original squad, I was using Spinazzola. So it's important to have fullback that you can trust, you can dribble, you can take on players, you can burst a speed, hit an early cross, hit a low cross. They play a major part of your attack. And most of the time, of course, the whole player. It just messes up the opposition defense. If you want to be more defensive, maybe use 2 box-in-the-box players. But at least 1 box-in-the-box player, box-to-box player has to be a little bit more higher technique, more offensive-minded. But if you want to copy exactly that, now remember, I'm not saying if you use this, you're just going to slap everybody left and right. Again, it depends how good you're going to use this. And you can add your own philosophy into it. But the key attributes for this, no AMF, whole player, orchestrator, box-to-box, 2 skillful attacking fullbacks, box-in-the-box goal poacher, and the most important, possession game. You might play counter and do better with it. Who knows? So, I would like to, when it comes to starting talking about formation and tactics, I mainly wanted to focus on an anti-meta formation. If you're like me, you kind of get bored of facing the same formation and you don't want to use the same formation. Then you come up with something that would dominate that you face most of the time. I think we did a series, we call it formation domination. And this 5-3-2 flat has been dominating the most overly used formation that you face, which is 4-2-3-1. Now, in upcoming episode, I will talk about the best effective formation playing style and squad build. 4-2-1-3, 4-2-2. I'm not a fan of 4-2-2 this year, sadly. 4-2-4 is effective. But top 3 effective formation right now, I can easily say 4-2-1-3, whether it's with wingers or narrow most of the time, 3 CB fullback. diamond formation, 4-4, even 3-5-2 with the right squad build. So comment down below if you have used the system and you had success with it. And if you have used the system like that, tell me what you got. How is your squad build? How's your playing style? How do you play? I want to know. Let's have a conversation. Comment down below. You can simply support what I do here by sharing, like, and subscribe. Till next time, ciao for now.